So I had the same feeling. We do text-based research, and this was said before. We have all this text that we are getting, and where is there any nonverbal that we are used to read and used to interpret? So let me take you through this presentation and see whether we can find some nonverbal clues even in a text-based discussion. So first of all, yesterday we heard that 10% only is culture, language, words that we hear. 60% we know is body language. Then we get smells. We heard about this yesterday, tastes, etc., etc. So 90% of our communication actually is nonverbal. So if we look at just the text, this is 10%. So a real qualitative researcher asks, can we get what we need to get from our respondents? But there's much more than that we get. We get facial expressions. Well, that's the nonverbal communication. In a real focus group, we get facial expressions. We can see the eyes, the movement of their eyes. We can measure the movements. We get gestures, movements, how people behave at the table, how they lean back or are getting engaged, whether they blush or sweat, or we can hear their voices. We can hear the tonality and the level of their voices. And the pauses, we heard about this, that you check the pauses as well, the time they take to respond, whether they respond immediately, excitedly, or lean back and come with a sort of, I don't know. Yeah, so that's very different. And are we really missing out on this online? Let's see. This was the former setting that we had stressed researchers from different areas coming to one location, to the facility, to be there on time. We have the researcher in the back room or the researcher with the group who is looking at every nonverbal clue very closely and discussing with real people in a regular focus group facility that you all know. And then there's online qualitative research. And is this just text? Is it just a boring soup of noodles, words? So it's text only. But if you look at the text closely, we can get really different text, just the text. We have different fonts. Respondents quickly learn how to write in different sizes. They use capital letters. They use the possibilities that all the platforms meanwhile offer, bold, italic, and underline. They can highlight, they use colors, etc. And they use the emoticons. We'll see this later, and exclamation marks, etc. So this is a lot of nonverbal that comes along with the text. And in addition to the text, they have developed a new language specifically for online talks, online chats. We can meanwhile add photos, videos, webcam, internet links to websites, to something they want to show to us, pictures, images. They use avatars, and they can do profile pages like on Facebook to introduce themselves to each other. So we can really create a group feeling. Text is not just text. This is from an Indian bulletin board. I remember before we had a text from a German boy who wrote very interesting. There was one slide before. This is English. Most of you speak English, and it's hard to read, isn't it? But you can get a feeling of this boy. It's a teenager, and we've been discussing how they communicate, how they use their cell phones, and yeah. If you read this, you have to read it aloud to be able to get it. But you can get the feeling of the slang and the phonetical, and you actually hear the voice of the respondent when you read this. Then we've got the emoticons. Most platforms offer loads of emoticons that we all are used to from texting on our cell phones, etc. This is something that helps us get a quick feeling of their feelings. The regular emoticons you know, but the blue ones, it's interesting in a cultural aspect. If you go to the Asian market, you have different emoticons. We look at the mouth. You can see the different mouths that we are using, always the eyes with the dots. In the Asian market, you have it the other way around. They use the eyes to make the difference, whether they are sleeping or excited or sad, the last one. So you get a feeling. You have to know the emoticons of the culture you're researching. Okay, and then in addition, to the pure text, we get sound and action words. Yeah, the the grinning. I use the same thing when I answer my respondents. So you can get feelings, emotions back and forth just with the action words. And then I use also images, little pictures, like on a bulletin board that comes in asynchronous or a community that takes longer. Sometimes I'm just showing that I'm listening, that I'm there. Yeah, they are not writing or typing their text and somebody is going to read it over the next 3 days and not answering. So I would just add a little mark, a little coffee pot that I'm sitting here in the morning reading what they are doing, or I show the thumbs up, great what you're doing, so telling them, go on, that's without even getting into the details, just telling them with a little sign, my feeling and my emotions. And they do the same thing on the other side. Then, this is quite a while ago, and I thought of whether I still put it in or not, but this was when we did this research with the teenagers in 2007. Similar to your research, I did the bulletin board compared with real-time focus groups, real focus groups, and dyads, triads. And I had an intern, a teenager, and he helped me understand the online conversation with the teenagers that was going on. So I asked him to please get me a dictionary so I can get the shortcuts that they use. That's German, but just so they really develop an own new language to say quickly what they want to say, and they give us a lot of emotions there as well. Another idea is the avatars. We can use the real picture, the real respondents. Sometimes that makes sense because we want to see who that is, who is talking to us. But the avatars also help not just to protect their personality and keep it anonymous, but it's also a good way to learn more about the respondent, because the way and what they choose as the avatar tells us a lot about this person. And I even engage them, not in an online focus group, but in a bulletin board, a community when you've got more time. I would ask them, why did you choose it? What does it tell you? What does it tell us about you? And they give us a lot of information about themselves. So that's also a good way to get behind the text. Then what we have as a possibility now is get not into their Facebook pages, what we discussed yesterday at our table, but to have them put up a profile and tell us about themselves. And if you do it as a moderator, and if the other respondents do this as well, this is a great way of creating a group, of getting to know each other, and getting behind the faceless, text-based discussion. Then we can add all the digital media meanwhile. So it's not just text-based anymore. We can use photos and videos that the respondents upload. We can use the webcam that they've got. They can search the internet for appropriate photos. They Google images and give them to us and show us, that's what I mean, or this photo expresses a specific feeling. So we have got a world of images in the internet that we can use. Same for videos. Then they can mail photos and ask the moderator to upload it. We still face sometimes problems with the platforms that one or the other has got a firewall or problems or cannot upload a specific photo that they did. So make it easy, give them other ways. Send it to me as an email. I even had someone fax something to me, and they use snail mail that still exists, so they can do something and send it to you via mail. One sent to me a USB stick with video clips on it. So that's all possible and can be integrated. I can upload it as the moderator if I want others to see it as well. We can integrate the webcams, and we have voice recordings and the uploading of MP3s. That's possible for the respondents if we want them to show something. Show me where your dog is, show me where you feed your dog, show me where you've got the dog food in the shelf. So they can show us around in their homes. I think yesterday somebody said ethnography 2.0. That's a way of getting into the homes of the people as well. Okay, and then we can use what you just said, and then I don't want to get deeper into this. We can use the full toolbox of the qualitative researcher. We can make collages. We can send them material, so they do collages, send them back to us. They can scan them and email it. They can upload it. And we have got platforms that offer huge amounts of photos and stuff that we can use for the collages. We can do picture sorting, color associations, analogies, metaphors, sentence completions. Everything's been touched before this morning. So, but this can all be done online as well. So it is qualitative. This is an example of a collage we did based on pictures the kids gave me, and then they discussed in the bulletin board which pictures definitely need to be included on the collage that they do together. So they made one collage, the whole group together, like they would possibly in a focus group room. Picture sorting, that's a platform where you can get all sorts of pictures and have people choose a picture, and they can, in the so-called whiteboard area that we had here before, the respondents can call them give them a name and describe it. Each respondent can get a different color, so you can tell which respondent has said what. But so you can get above the nonverbal with the picture sorting and talking about pictures. Same thing here, you can sort it by luxury and generic, expensive, affordable, things that we do in a focus group when we've got the group together. That all can be done online meanwhile as well. Colors, wonderful to give them different pens, and then they write their feelings in the colors and type it, so usage of color, which is nice. You can see here that's a French board that we had where they had talked about their computer, and some of them had really panicked when they would be without computer. This is horrible to imagine a day in my life when my computer is not working, so that was the warning, no computer. And another one just had these amazing colors, red in the beginning and later green, which would mean red is terrible, stressful in the beginning, but then maybe it would be green and nice and easy, and it would be nice to be without a computer and see what I can do without my computer for that day. So it's, you see, you can get a lot of emotions there as well. Okay, then you can do all the finger pointing, choose the product, choose the packaging that you prefer, and you can actually get it by respondent, because each respondent has a specific color that they choose, and they can show it to you. So this is really finger pointing and choosing products. Same thing here. In addition to just choosing something, you can show them a concept, and they can mark it. They can make circles around the things that they like and cross something that they dislike, and they can even type in a text why they dislike it or why they like it. So you get quite good information. And again, the emoticons that they can add for things that they really like or dislike. You can show them faces, yeah, positive, smiling, angry, and they can add the faces and then describe. Here, this is a link to a little video, and while the video was running, they gave me the different faces and explanations of their feelings. Yeah, then the blogging, we have had this. We can use it as a diary. We can use it over a while that they tell us about their lives. People are used about blogging, and that's where you can include, again, a lot of pictures and little video clips to learn more about the respondents. Yeah, and then take it further to the visuals, videos, websites. They can like, dislike. And then the last step would be add webcams. We can do webcam groups where we meet with the people from, for example, this was a group where I had to mix people from a city and from a rural area. That's hard to get to a facility, to get people from the real countryside, farmers, to come to the big capital to meet the city people. But here I had them in the same group. And with the webcam, we could see each other. I could see the reaction of those people. And yeah, you can see here, one is leaning back. You can see whether they're concentrated, what they're doing. So this adds all the nonverbal with the webcam here as well. And the same thing, you've got a whiteboard again, where they, in addition, can do the same thing what we just talked about, finger pointing, coloring, writing, texting, whatever, emoticons. So I would say, after all, it's not a boring soup of noodles. To me, it's an exciting new dish that can be very tasty and interesting once you dare to jump and dive and try it out. But it's not because online has to be and we need to be new and do something new, but because this methodology may have advantages over another methodologies and as researchers, independent from methodology, we should have this in our toolbox. And I would vote for the situation that we can overcome the nonverbal challenges.